Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestle News 365 here. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday. Hope you're all staying calm, safe and sane with everything that's going on at the moment. Let's try and distract you momentarily if we can. Let's talk a little bit about AEW Dynamite, specifically Matt Hardy. Yes, after months, about a month I would say actually, of speculation, Matt Hardy is indeed All Elite. He made his debut last night at the end of AEW Dynamite, shocking the fans that weren't there, shocking the fans online, certainly, making social media explode. I tell you what, it was a couple of things I would really want to comment on about it. One, people are saying, the pop would have been great. The pop would have been amazing. And I do agree, the pop would have been amazing. But there was something about not having the fans there at the time that I think almost made the segment resonate more with me than if the fans were there, if that makes sense. You know, Matt Hardy's broken character, his broken universe is so off the wall, is so different, that almost having no fans, having the quiet reveal with the piano music playing, the classic broken universe piano music playing, which I'm assuming was piano music performed by his wife Rebby, so great to see her work back in the mainstream once more. But I thought, the slow reveal, the no reaction from having no fans there, and just the piano music playing and Matt Hardy standing up in the stands with staring at the inner circle. I thought that was great, actually. I thought it was different, and whilst the pop would have been iconic, quite frankly, and so loud it would have deafened Rochester, New York, if AEW Dynamite had indeed emanated from there. There was something about not having the fans there that I think actually did work about that segment, about that reveal. So obviously positives and negatives with the fans not being there, but I did really enjoy that. So so the main event segment, if you didn't see it last night, was having members of the Inner Circle face members of the Elite, with the winner getting the man advantage in Blood and Guts. Hey, see what I did there? Whenever the Blood and Guts match is on the next Dynamite. They didn't specifically say when that next Dynamite is, AEW, but I think they're just playing their cards safe there. The intention is for the next Dynamite to be next week, but I think AEW's playing it very safe, knowing that, look, I mean, how much has happened in the last week, 10 days alone? So how much could happen in the next 10 days or the next week? So they're playing it safe by saying the Blood and Guts match will happen at the next Dynamite. They're not committing as of yet to having Dynamite next week on TNT. I'm sure they'll have some programming on Wednesday, next Wednesday for Dynamite. It just might not be a live show, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. That's a discussion, that's a story for a later date, isn't it? So as I was saying, we had that main event. We had the Inner Circle versus the Elite. Winner gets the man advantage. Spoiler, the Inner Circle gets the victory on that one. And then Chris Jericho, along with the Inner Circle, goes on to cut a promo basically saying, not only do we have the man advantage, but the Elite's just constantly bickering at the moment. There's so much infighting. There's tension between the likes of Matt Jackson and Hangman Adam Page. You know, even Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, they're tag team champions, but they're not necessarily on the same page. Whereas you look at the Inner Circle, they've never had a cross word at each other. They're never arguing. And on top of that, they've now got the man advantage. And to put that even more into perspective, you don't even have the full team. Nick Jackson is no longer on the Elite team for Blood and Guts. He's been ruled out indefinitely because of the attack on him the previous week by the Inner Circle, where Nick Jackson's head was crushed by like a garage door backstage. So Nick Jackson's not on the team. He was ruled out indefinitely. He wasn't on the show last night. But Matt Jackson has a retort to Chris Jericho here. He has a response. He says, no, Nick Jackson isn't on the team, but we do have a final member. And he had to call in a favour from an old friend to be the final person on the Elite's team for Blood and Guts. And as this is happening, as Matt Jackson is talking, we see a drone, a familiar drone, which is, you don't realise, just a bit of a side point, but you don't realise how noisy drones are until you're actually either near one or you hear one without any, music or playing over the top of it. When you see them from a far distance, or you see them in films, or you see them in documentaries, etc., they're incredibly quiet, but actually in reality, they're very, very loud. So whilst Jericho was talking and whilst Matt Jackson was talking, you hear the noise of the drone landing, and it lands slowly in the ring, and you go, hey up, I recognise that drone from somewhere. Of course, that drone is, of course, Vanguard 1, which could only mean one thing. We have the slow reveal. Like I said, we have the piano music. The camera slowly pans up to the stands at the top of Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, and then we see him in all of his glory, Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy, standing in the stands staring at Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle as we go off the air. So it was a great moment, a pretty iconic Dynamite moment, I would say, that people are going to talk about for a long time. And this has actually all been leading up in Matt Hardy's Free the Delete YouTube series. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend to go and watch it. I think it's like 12 or 13 episodes, and it's really compelling stuff. It's a real throwback to what Matt Hardy was doing in Impact Wrestling, that original Broken Universe, completely off the wall, completely different and outside the box. It's almost, some people would say, and I don't know if this is a criticism or a positive compliment to it, that it's almost not professional wrestling. It's this hybrid of a little bit of wrestling meets a lot of soap opera, meets a lot of just weird, out of the box, different stuff that we've come to love and know from the Broken Universe. It's a real step back in the right direction for the Matt Hardy character, the broken Matt Hardy character, and that whole universe. And in that Free the Delete series, it's all about him removing Zenith, this sort of, I don't even know what to call it, this essence from Matt Hardy's body, which eventually is removed from his body by none other than the Young Bucks. They showed up at the Hardy compound a couple of weeks ago on the Free to Delete 2-part finale. They super kicked Zenith out of him. Matt Hardy was buried. And then we see on the second part of the finale this week that Damascus, this other entity, has now entered Matt Hardy, and it's a different, updated version of broken Matt Hardy. Obviously, we'll see a lot more as this would develop in AEW going forward. But at the end of the Free to Delete finale, once Damascus has entered Matt Hardy's vessel, as he would call it, Matt Hardy now has instead of the blonde streak in his hair, he has the red streak, a bit of a darker streak in his hair. He says to Vanguard 1, take me to Arcadia, and it goes straight off the air. And then what do we see at the end of Dynamite? We see Vanguard 1 landing, so it would appear that Vanguard 1 has, of course, landed in Arcadia, and Arcadia is none other than All Elite Wrestling. So it's All Elite Delete now, or All Delete Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. And straight away after his debut last night, there's a load of merch on AEWshop.com or whatever it's called, AEWmerch.com, whatever. So Matt Hardy's officially signed a deal with AEW. It's not necessarily surprising that he's gone to AEW. I think that was the most obvious place that I think everyone thought he was going to go. I've mentioned it on a few videos here and all of our audio stuff that I thought Matt Hardy was destined for AEW. I think it's the right place for him. It's for sure the right destination for his career at this time. And look, they're going to give him full creative freedom. They're going to give him exactly what he wants. He talks about having a blank creative canvas to really have a creative and career renaissance towards the end of his career. Matt Hardy has openly admitted he's got 3 or 4 more years left as an active in-ring performer, and he wants to make the most out of it. And AEW has certainly developed this reputation that they give their performers a lot of creative freedom, a lot of creative input to their characters, and that's what Matt Hardy wants. And to be honest, Matt Hardy's earned it, not just for the lengthy career that he's had, but the work he did in Impact Wrestling when he did have a creative input and a creative freedom to his character. So Matt Hardy can certainly be trusted to knock it out of the park, and nobody knows that broken universe, that broken character better than Matt Hardy himself, because of course he was the creator of it. So I'm really excited to see what Matt Hardy does in AEW. And like I said, for this creative renaissance, this late career renaissance that he has spoken about, AEW is the perfect place for him for that. Now, obviously, we'll do another video on the Exalted One. Probably will drop tomorrow, I would have thought. That, of course, was, spoiler ahead, Brody Lee was revealed as the Exalted One, which we kind of speculated on the channel as well. We also said that we thought it could be Matt Hardy, and there were a lot of hints and red herrings that it could be Matt Hardy. And once Brody Lee was revealed as the Exalted One earlier on in the show, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought, well, okay, Matt Hardy isn't the Exalted One. That's cool. Like I said, he would have been my almost preferred pick, but the way things have planned out now and the way things did play out, I think AEW got it spot on. I don't think Matt. This is what I was saying before. With Matt Hardy being the Exalted One, my only concern would be with that is that maybe the Dark Order isn't exactly high enough on the card maybe for a Matt Hardy coming in. It would certainly elevate the group, but maybe it's not the highest place for him. I did think that he would be a better mouthpiece for the group because I wasn't sure about Brody Lee's promo skills, but I love to be proved wrong, and Brody Lee proved me wrong last night. His promo was he absolutely knocked it out of the park. It was tremendous. I really enjoyed that. And I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong in that role. But again, that's getting off the point slightly. But once Brody Lee was revealed as the Exalted One, that made me think, okay, it's not Matt Hardy is not coming to AEW. That's not over. But maybe he can still have something to do with the Dark Order. Maybe it's an even bigger corporation than we initially thought. Or Matt Hardy did say we would find out in the next 30 days about where he is heading. So, possibly he still might be going to AEW, but maybe it's a bit of a later date. Maybe it's up Blood and Guts. Maybe it's whatever. So I certainly didn't expect to see Matt Hardy on this episode of Dynamite. That was the furthest thing from my mind, because I thought, well, we've had the Brody Lee reveal. Matt Hardy maybe is kind of, maybe that's still in limbo. Maybe he hasn't committed to anything at this point, or maybe we're going to have that reveal sometime down the line, not tonight. So to get that reveal right at the end of the show when we weren't expecting it was great, and it certainly caught me off guard. I really didn't see it coming, and especially in a day and age when you think about professional wrestling, and once you've been a fan like myself for almost 20 years now, ever since I was a kid, you do see a lot of things get repeated, and you do see a lot of things get slightly modified, but it's the same essence, it's the same story, just rehashed or re-updated or revamped, whatever you want to call it. So it's a nice change of pace, isn't it, to get got. It's a nice change of pace to not see something coming, not whether it's a swerve, whether it's a debut, whether it's a reveal. It's always nice to get caught out. And I just, like I said it on social media, I really enjoyed the reveal. I thought the reveal was really, really, really well done, because once Jericho was talking and you heard the drone, you're sort of going, why is that noise? Why is that noise? And then the moment you see the drone drop down, you immediately think, oh my God, it's Matt Hardy. But you don't see him straight away. So the reveal isn't immediate, which I really enjoyed, because I remember Chris Jericho talking about this, and he described it as Game of Thrones Red Wedding. And he was talking about when he did the Festival of Friendship with Kevin Owens. He said he had a big argument with Triple H about Triple H's point was that Kevin Owens should just attack him out of nowhere. And Chris Jericho said that's not the best storytelling. The best storytelling is telling the audience, here it comes. And you have that brief moment, whether it's 10, 5 seconds, even a couple of seconds, where everyone knows what's just about to happen, but you can't do anything about it. And you have that realization, and the characters have that realization on screen that, oh my God, this is just about to happen. And the fans put 2 and 2 together quickly. And even with no fans in the arena, fans at home were doing the exact same thing. Oh, wait a minute. That's Vanguard 1. That can only mean one thing. The piano music starts playing. That can only be one thing. And then you have the slow pan. So it wasn't just, lights go out, Hardy appears. It was, okay, seed, end result. And I think that was such a really gratifying way to do it, in terms of production value, in terms of storytelling. And like I said, it was different, and we got. And that, for me, maybe some of you didn't. Maybe some of you thought, once Brody Lee was revealed as the Exalted One, oh, okay, Matt Hardy's going to appear at the end of the show. I didn't see it coming. I'm first to admit that. So I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to see what Matt Hardy's going to do in AEW going forward. Because another thing I think is worth talking about is AEW's production quality in terms of creating vignettes. On this show, we actually had a really, really good vignette from Lance Archer and Jake Roberts. It was completely different, really creative, really well produced. The production quality on it was really, really high. I said on social media that it reminded me of like Pro Wrestling meets season 1 of True Detective, like that Louisiana, outwards thing. It was great. I really enjoyed it, and we'll probably talk about that more in depth in another video. But my point is that the production quality in AEW is really high, really high. So I'm really fascinated to see what Matt Hardy does with the broken character, full reign and full creative input and creative freedom of that broken character, with the production quality of AEW and the finance of AEW behind him. It's a match made in heaven. It's a match made in television heaven, wrestling heaven, and creative heaven. It's going to be out of the box. It's going to be different. And I'm fascinated to see what happens and how Matt Hardy reacts with the Elite. We know that Matt Hardy has a relationship, of course, with the Bucks that predates AEW and all of that stuff. The Broken Hardys defeated the Young Bucks for the ROH Tag Team Championships just before they signed with WWE, and they lost it to the Bucks in a ladder match, a tremendous ladder match. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's a real fun match. And the following night, the Hardys won the Raw Tag Team Championships when they made their return at WrestleMania. So that was a period of time where the Hardys were in so much demand. And why were they in so much demand? Because they were setting the business on fire with this broken universe, these broken characters that no one had seen anything like before. And that was back in, 2017, 2016. So just imagine what Matt Hardy's got in his brain after 3 years of being in WWE and not really being able to spread his creative wings, per se. So I bet he's got so many ideas to unleash on the All Elite Wrestling universe, and I can't wait to see it. And I really can't emphasize enough how great last night's show was. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. There's so much not on at the moment, and whether the debate or not of whether these wrestling shows should be on or not is definitely a debate that's worth having. If you want to know my opinions on that, go follow us on social media, because my opinions on that are there. But as I mentioned on social media, whilst the shows are on, I'm going to take the assumption that AEW, WWE are following the correct guidelines and following the correct advice from the health and safety officials and the government officials. And while they're on, I'm going to enjoy them. Because there's not a lot on at the moment. And to take a line from WWE, they are putting smiles on faces. And AEW certainly did that last night. I thoroughly enjoyed last night's show. And I thought it was a real fun show to watch. And it was the icing on the cake was Matt Hardy's debut. So go and watch it. It's tremendous television, and I'm really excited to see what Matt Hardy does in the future of All Elite Wrestling. I think it's a real big get for them, and I just think it's a match made in heaven. I think it's a perfect fit for him, especially as he's winding down his career. But it's obviously not just about my opinion. What did you think? What did you think of the reveal of Matt Hardy at the end of Dynamite last night? What did you think of having no fans there? Did that hurt the reveal, or did it actually benefit the reveal? And what do you think Matt Hardy's role in AEW is going to be going forward? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to Wrestling News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right-hand corner there, or the subscribe button, or if you just wait a couple more seconds at the end of this video, the subscribe button will be on the screen along with another video for you to watch. Don't forget to also follow us on all of our social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, our podcasts on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. There's so much ways to enjoy Wrestling News 365. So thank you very, very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you've come across this today. And I'm sure I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.